YouTube, truckers and trucker ladies worldwide. Yes, it is your boy, your mans, your royals, the oft imitated, never duplicated, the one and only Enrique Prince, also known as Prince the Trucker, back with another video drop for you guys and gals to enjoy here on the channel. First and foremost, and as always, shout out to all my returning subscribers. Big shout out to all the new subscribers here on the channel. We are gaining some subscribers over the days and weeks, which I'm truly appreciative of. I have started posting a little more on my TikTok, just as far as, you know, little motivational clips, maybe a little comedy, whatever I feel like at the moment. And I see all the support from TikTok starting to trickle over a little bit to the YouTube channel. So please keep the support going. I really appreciate all of you guys and gals. I mean that. And we are trying to hit 3K this year. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and as always, drop a comment, question, or experience if you make it all the way to the end of the video down in the comment section. You dig? Now that we got the intro out of the way, we're gonna get straight into the topic at hand. And today's topic for us to have a real conversation about is even a dollar has to break in order to make change, and so must you. Let's get into the conversation. All right, YouTube, Prince the Trucker here, reporting live from the cab of the rig. You dig? It is currently Wednesday, July 9th, 7:50 p.m., year 2025, and I am coming to y'all from Dallas, Texas. I think it's about to be a little thunderstorm, so I'm sitting in the front seat, waiting for the show to begin. But if you are new here on the channel, let me give you a brief overview of how I do things here on Prince the Trucker on YouTube. I'm not your typical trucker content creator. I don't flash checks. I don't talk about the best companies to go to, at least not yet. I haven't gotten that deep into the game. I don't have a GoPro where I'm showing you every single move I make, every cup of coffee that I pour. But I am in a different lane. I like to talk about the motivation and inspiration that comes with being a truck driver. I like to talk about the inner thoughts that we share, not only as truck drivers, but human beings, and maybe just realistic topics that you may be going through, or I may be going through in this thing that we call life. You understand what I'm saying? So, as you can see from the title of the video, even a dollar has to break in order to make change, and so must you. So let's elaborate on that a little bit. I just came up with a couple talking points that I'm gonna put out into the air, and then we can kind of just bounce off of our ideas and experiences with these topics. You dig what I'm saying? And you know what, to be honest, the more that I put out these videos, the comments that I get in the comment section, the people that hit me up on TikTok when it comes to just sharing their experiences and their stories and the questions you guys have, it lets me know that there's a need for at least a conversation on real life things, because we all go through things, we all make sacrifices, and sometimes we can feel like we're alone when we keep our thoughts to ourselves. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart that it means a lot when you guys interact and let me know that the conversation is being received and that we can build off that. You dig what I'm saying? So let's get into it. All right, so the first talking point that I'm going to present when it comes to breaking that habit within yourself so that you can make change is knowing your value, right? Separating yourself from the dependency, that culture of dependency that we have when it comes to other people, places, and things, and essentially eliminating transactional relationships that we have in our life. Now, Prince the Trucker, what do you mean by that? Well, if you're getting into this trucking game, as we always talk about in every video, it takes a lot mentally, spiritually, and physically to be able to just do the job, especially if you're an over-the-road driver like myself, where you're away from home for 30 days plus, 60 days plus, 90 days plus, whatever format you choose, whether you have a family or you're single, either way, there's a lot of pressures out here on the road when it comes to home, real life, right? So this is the time where you have to grow up for real, in your mental, in your spirit, and in your physical. And if you don't know your value, if you don't know the reason why you're making this decision, it's going to be very hard when you come back around to people. Because if you haven't changed these habits of having dependency with other people and transactional relationships, you're just going to go right back into that same fold. It doesn't matter how successful you are on the road and how much money you make. When you come back, if you haven't addressed your value to yourself, the reasoning why you're making this change in your life, if you haven't worked on eliminating the dependency that you have on your co-workers, your friends of the neighborhood, the girls, the women that you speak to, the guys you speak to, whatever the situation is, your parents, family members, this is the perfect opportunity for you to use your liberation and gain the finance that you need and the resources to become dependent on yourself, right? Let's be honest. It's the year 2025. A lot of truckers that get into trucking, from what I can tell, usually join the industry because of the freedom you have in the job, and they want to get away from all of the things that are present in real life. All the friends that depend on them, ask them for money, all of the family members that take their energy without being able to appreciate it, their old job that just runs them down to the bone, and all the co-workers they're surrounded by that just talk crap all day but really are living broke as hell. Like, you get what I'm saying? They bragging about going to the club for the weekend and doing this and doing that, but there's no real change. You know, everybody has this bravado about themselves, and they're proud to be in the situations that they're in. But when you communicate with these people from a genuine place, you know the truth. You know their hardships. You know what they're going through. And you don't want to judge them, right? You love these folks. You care for these folks in whatever degree you do. So when you have the opportunity to get into trucking and change your life, it's very important you know your value on why you're doing it, because it is going to bring value, especially if you're doing it right. And it's very important that you understand that you're going to become a lot more independent. So those relationships that you created, whether they be financially, emotionally, physically, that dependency that people have of you is also going to change. Those transactional relationships that you have with people, your roommates, you guys are going half on the rent, that girl that you're living with because your job doesn't pay a lot, so you're rooming with this girl and you're creating this false sense of securement with her. All of these dependent and transactional relationships you really need to zero in on and eliminate. This whole journey is about creating independence, not dependence. You dig what I'm saying? Alright, I hope you're following me so far, YouTube. We are going to get into the next topic on what I feel like is very important for you to understand so that you can break your old ways of thinking and make change within your journey, right? So we have to understand that people in general are choosy. People are going to choose a lot of times the least path of resistance when it comes to work, being accepted, and really placing value on their life. See, what I've noticed about people is they're good at giving advice in their places of vulnerability. But when you start choosing yourself and not other people and actually making change, you know what will happen? They will withdraw from you. They will mock you. They will start saying things like, oh, you think you know everything? Oh, why you always gotta try to teach me something? You act like you don't ever make mistakes. See, I've heard it too many times. And that's why I say you gotta understand that people are going to be choosy. You have to treat yourself like the choice and never the option, right? You have to understand that when you're making this change in your life, if you came to me at some point in your life and you were drawn to my energy, you were drawn to my potential, you were drawn to my focus and my motivation, how is it not enough for you now? Right? How are you trying to dictate my path when in actuality that was the same thing that brought you to me in the first place? I've experienced this so many times, like I said, with family members, co-workers, relationships. You're good when you're in a vulnerable state, because in reality to those people, you're just another option. But when you motivate and challenge them in the same way that they, quote unquote, motivate and challenge you, they start to understand that you're no longer an option. To be real, if they were honest with themselves, you always have been and you still are the choice. But by you motivating and trying to challenge them with the mind frame that you carry, it's offensive. It's, again, looked at as being too much, too full of yourself. And you can't progress with people who want you to stay stagnant. You can't accept the fact that people who choose to stay in the same spot, the same situation, can educate you with no realistic change. How is that possible? How can I choose you even with your flaws? And over time, there's no real progression. Yet when I hear what you have to say and I make progression, now I'm no longer the choice. Now I'm too much. Look, this is normal, ladies and gentlemen, truckers and trucker gals worldwide. When you get into this trucking game, like I told you, a lot of time, finances are going to change. You're going to start to find out who you really are. And it's important you understand people are going to be choosy, okay? But always treat yourself like the choice and never an option. All right, you two, I'm not going to hold y'all for too much longer, right? I just want to bring up two more points that I feel like are very crucial in breaking our old habitual ways of thinking and making change when it comes to embarking on this new journey. And if you find any of this information useful or you just enjoy the royal conversation that we're having, please don't hesitate to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, right? So the next point that I want to bring up is do not dim your light to fit in other people's darkness. Once again, you have expectations from all the people in your life, friends, family, potential relationships, again, co-workers. All of these people have these expectations of you when it comes to who they think you are, right? But what's very unique about trucking is when you separate from all of those things and you start to embark on the journey, you realize I don't have to dim my light to fit other people's darkness. That all goes back to the first point of what we were talking about in today's video, which is knowing your value. Look, if you have an expectation of me and it's a ping pong effect where we're both in the same situation and we're talking about what you can do better and I can do better, and then it gets to a point where I'm doing better and now I look back and you're still neutral, you still are quick to anger, you are still quick to not being accountable, you are still quick to victimization, you're still quick to dependency, that is not your problem, trucker and trucker ladies worldwide. You have made the conscious decision to improve. You have made the conscious decision to go on the journey and do what's required to be in your space and earn your resource, earn your money, earn the growth in your process. And unless somebody is truly with you, truly has the mindset to have your best interest, they're not going to get it. And that's okay. It's not for you to prove. This is part of your elevation. Just remember, never dim your light to fix other people's darkness. You get it? All right, YouTube. So the last talking point that I want to present and put on the table for today's video is that you are not going to be for everybody. Okay? You are not going to be able to make everybody happy that you come across. You might not be everybody's cup of tea, but you are somebody's cup of coffee. You understand what I'm telling you? Tea stimulates and detoxes. Coffee also stimulates, but it wakes up. For the most part, right? That's what it's designed to do. So, understanding that you're going to be misunderstood, understanding that you're not always going to be put in the category that you feel like you should be placed in, is all part of the rush for me. If you ever doubted me, I thank you. If you've ever put me in a position to where I had to question myself and the relationship that I have with you, I thank you. You know why? Because these are the type of things that grow us and make us better. It's not about attaching and having control of other people in their lives and their time and being validated in your presence. It's really about validating oneself and really putting yourself in a position to be heard. Maybe not even from the people closest to you, but from people that you don't even know. That in itself is very, very powerful. With that being said, YouTube, truckers and trucker ladies worldwide, you already know Prince the Trucker is just here to provide motivation and inspiration for the situation. And remember, lead by example and not your emotions. The world is already hard enough. But if you're going to speak about situations in your life and what people need to do to improve, then at least embody the spirit of self-improvement. It's very important with the way that the world is evolving that we continue to spread positivity with one another and really give something for people to look at, not just something for people to talk about. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful for every day that I get an opportunity to do that. And I'm still fulfilling my vision, my journey, 1 mile at a time. And I hope you are too. It is the oft imitated, never duplicated, the one and only Enrique Prince, also known as Prince the Trucker. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you on the next one. You do understand that though, right? Peace.